Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV, also on X. Welcome to Ungoverned. Good to be here. As Iran is a less nuclear capable country now than they were a few days ago. Of course. Would I have preferred diplomacy and no bombs? Of course. However, as I had mentioned, I don't know how long ago it was, but I posted it on X 6 days ago. It was because it was Tuesday night. It was last Tuesday that I posted this on X, and I want everybody to remember this, right? Because a lot of people love to say they called it or they did this, and the other people like to come in and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I've got a pretty good track record with stuff like this. Let me show you what I'm talking about, okay? This is the post from X a couple of days ago, 6 days ago. That's not the post from X. That's a different post. Wow. Okay. Well, that was Rumble. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Here's what we'll do. We'll go to this post. That's why I got to go like this, right? Here's the post from X a couple days ago that I made. Of course, it's not showing up. All right. Well, never mind. That's not going to happen. Here we go. Nope, still not. Okay, well, I'll read it to you then, since the thing doesn't want to cooperate. I said I gave a few options. I gave a few options. That's why, as to whether or not or how the Middle East conflict was going to unfold. Okay, I gave a few options. I gave a few outcomes. Right. And I started with saying, look, I think the administration, as Caroline Leavitt said, I think the administration wanted to take the diplomatic approach, right? I think the administration wanted to take a diplomatic approach. But a diplomatic approach was only going to work if and only if Iran played ball as well, right? Here's the post, finally, right? If and only if Iran played ball as well. So this is what it says. Middle East right now would love your thoughts. Best case scenario, diplomacy prevails. Iran surrenders. Full dismantling of nuclear program. Islamic Republic falls organically. No U.S. offensive involvement. No U.S. nation building. Next best. That's not what we wanted to do. Okay. Next best. Diplomacy fails. Iran does not surrender. U.S. bombs Iran's nuclear sites. Nuclear program crippled. Islamic Republic falls. No U.S. nation building. That's where we are right now, although the regime has not fallen yet. Not great. Same as above, but the United States is heavily involved in creating a new Iranian government, which is nation building. Worst case, full-scale invasion of Iran to cripple their nuclear program and topple the regime. As of now, this was last Tuesday. You can see the date there, 17th of June, 2025. I believe the administration would like the first option, but I believe the second option, which, as you can see right here, Iran doesn't surrender, U.S. bombs the sites, no nation building, is the most likely. Mainly because in order for the first option to come to fruition, Iran has to play ball too. Complex situation. I, for one, am happy that Donald Trump is behind the wheel. So when the strikes happened on Friday night, I wasn't necessarily shocked because I had anticipated already that was going to happen. So essentially, I sat there and said, listen, I called this. It's not about a victory lap, but it's about being realistic with our expectations. And if you had realistic expectations on whether or not Iran was going to play ball and whether we could trust them and all of these things, then I don't know what to tell you. Look, Trump is the master deal maker, art of the deal. We could say all that. However, if one of the members of the potential deal is just refusing to negotiate in good faith, then you have to move on to plan B, and that's exactly what Donald Trump did. He moved on to plan B. Now, I know that he made a post on Truth Social. We'll get to that, about regime change. He has made several posts like this before, but we've got three members of the administration, high-up members of the administration, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, and J.D. Vance, saying that that is not a goal of these operations. So to everyone flipping out about regime change this morning, the same people who flipped out about World War III a week ago, and we will have plenty on them, calm the hell down. Your sensationalism is getting old. Your clickbait nonsense is getting old. Your credibility is already out the window as far as many people are concerned. And you've been exposed. And boy, did we do a lot of exposing people this weekend. The Haji twins, if you guys didn't see what I did to them, racking up over 2 million views and a lot of embarrassment for those people. And look, I don't take pride in attacking our people on our own side. But when people on our own side are acting like frauds, you're damn right I'm going to attack them. And I'm going to out them. And I'm going to expose them. And we'll get to them a little bit as well. We'll talk about the strikes. We'll talk about all that. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about OFP Farms. OFPfarms.com. OFPfarms.com. They make the best products. Goat milk, lip balm, all that sort of stuff. Look at this right here. This is the Revolution soap, okay? You say you want a revolution. We give you the old Biden. It smells amazing, okay? Revolution soap, they've got a lot. They've got the We the People soap as well, and my favorite is the Outlaw soap, okay? It'll leave you smelling like a felon. That's why they put Donald Trump's mugshot on the front, right? Smelling like a felon. OFPfarms.com. They're a family-owned and operated patriotic America First goat farm providing quality goat milk products for everyday use. Their large collection of goat milk products are enriched with vital nutrients of essential vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids to help promote optimal skin health. Not only are their goat milk products and lip balms top-notch, they also carry a bunch of other stuff like beard products, etc. Check it out. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on the website. Many of those reviews come from amazing patriots and people like you, the Ungovernables, who now have a community on X, by the way, that Jason King set up. We're very, very appreciative of that, and it is growing rapidly, so check it out. Folks, many of the 5-star reviews on the website are reviews that you guys posted, okay? We are just so thrilled that you love these products. OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean, SHAWN. Check out their wide selection of goat milk soaps, lotions, magnesium products, and Goat Kisses lip balms. Be sure to use the promo code Sean, SHAWN, at checkout to get 15% off. But if you do spell my name wrong, we gonna have a problem, okay? I'm going to charge you a 20% tariff, so you're going to actually lose 5%. So spell my name right, SHAWN, at OFP, Oscar Foxtrot, PapaFarms.com, OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. For those of you listening and watching this morning, a little feedback would be appreciated. Does the audio sound good on your end? I just need to know because I made a couple of adjustments, small adjustments over the weekend to some of the equipment. So I just want to make sure that everything sounds good, doesn't sound too loud, doesn't sound too low, and I would appreciate that feedback. I want to get into this nation building thing, okay? This regime change, this whole nonsense, garbage that was put forth by the fakers out there. Everyone says it sounds great. Okay, good. Thank you very much, guys. I don't know. Maybe 5 out of 5. I don't know. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. I just didn't want there to be any, any issues that I wasn't aware of. So we're good. Thank you very much. Appreciate the feedback. The United States did bomb they bomb Iran. Bomb Iran. Take my hand. Bomb Iran. You got me rocking and a rolling, rocking and a reeling. Bomb Iran. Bomb Iran. Okay. This is not music class, especially not with that rendition of Barbara Ann by the Beach Boys, who one of the members of the Beach Boys passed away recently, which is sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
It is.
What happens when you get old?
I know who the Beach Boys are, but again, it's like one of those situations. I didn't know who that person was. Well, the last time I said I didn't know who a famous person was, I got ripped for it because of Val Kilmer, so I just stayed quiet on that one. And I'm the Beach Boys are great. I thoroughly enjoy their music. This is Donald Trump's announcement that we completed our very successful attack on the 3 nuclear sites in Iran, including Fordow, Natanz, and Esfahan. All planes are now outside Iran airspace. A full payload of, I love this capital, bombs was dropped on the primary site, Fordow. All planes are safely on their way home, right to Whiteman Air Force Base. I think Heather Osborne says she lives near.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There's not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love the new sign-off from Donald Trump. Thank you for attention to this matter. By the way, I don't know if you saw Donald Trump's press conference at 10 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, but there were some cutouts and some bloopers. Donald Trump had some more things to say that were not included in that speech, so I was able to put that together for you here.
My fellow Americans, I am proud to announce the success of Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody has a bigger hammer than I do. Everybody knows it. Now the world knows it, right? Imagine if Kamala was your president. Things would look totally different. I call it Operation Hammered by Noon. It would be a very bad situation. The United States military used our 30,000-pound bunker busters, some of which included Chris Christie and Stacey Abrams, who I call the Beast of the Southeast, who is now known as the Beast of the Middle East. It's a miracle Iran didn't hear her coming. You know, you look at her teeth. She's got the gap. And she was whistling all the way down, but they didn't hear her coming, and she did a tremendous job. She made a big, beautiful impact. I'm proud to announce that no goats were harmed in yesterday's operation. In fact, they're very happy about it. From one goat to another, you know, they call me the goat, the greatest of all time, from one goat to another. You're welcome. Ilhan Omar is not happy about it because some people did something last night. AOC, we call her low IQ, is not happy about it because she found herself on the same side as crazy Candace Owens. And Thomas Massey is not happy about it, but he's never happy. After all, who would be happy when you wake up every morning with a haircut that looks like undercooked linguine? I wouldn't be happy about anything either. Iran's nuclear program has been destroyed worse than Crooked Joe's diaper at the Vatican. You know what I'm talking about. They called it Operation Tootsie Roll, and he made a lot of boom booms in that diaper. It was a very messy situation, that much I can tell you. Together we will achieve peace through strength, and we will make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you for your attention to this matter. So who did it better? I happen to like my rendition of the whole thing better than Trump's dignified. No, I'm just kidding. Donald Trump, his remarks on Friday were quick, and I enjoyed them. I said I had to do something. I had to do a funny take. We didn't get any of the nuclear facilities died like a dog, right? We didn't get any of that. That was funny. But I had to put my spin on it. So I hope you appreciated that. A lot of people seem to like it. Even people who disagree with the strikes were commenting saying, I don't think we should have done this, but that was funny. So, you know what? That achieved its goal. All right, we're going to jump into the nitty-gritty of everything. We're going to jump into the nitty-gritty.
We love the nitty and the gritty.
We love the nitty and the gritty. In just a second, before that, I want to talk to you about one of our new sponsors, My Patriot Supply. Big 4th of July sale going on right now, folks. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. Have you ever noticed how the power always seems to go out whenever you need it most? Does that happen to any of you? It's happened to me so many times. In the summer, it's always in the summer. See, I don't mind being cold. I can't stand being hot. You know, the heat, to me, that should be illegal. I think, you know, if we're going to do climate change, we should be going in the opposite direction, even though climate change is a complete and total hoax. But you ever notice how the power goes out whenever you need it the most? Every single time. Every single time. Whether it's a heat wave, a summer storm, or just too many people running that AC all at once, power goes out, grid can't keep up, and we all have a bunch of problems. That's why I want to tell you about the Grid Doctor 3300 solar generator from My Patriot Supply. This thing is an absolute beast. 3,300 watts of off-grid power that keeps the fridge, the freezer, the lights, even medical devices running whenever the power grid fails. And right now, My Patriot Supply has a crazy deal going. When you buy the Grid Doctor 3300, they will throw in 2 waterproof 200-watt solar panels completely free. They're not the cheap panels either. They are military-grade, super durable, waterproof, and built to last through storms, heat, and who knows what else? Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. It's the name of the show. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Check out the Grid Doctor 3300 and everything else that there is to offer at mypatriotsupply.com. Big 4th of July sale going on right now. mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Grid Doctor 3300, among many other things that would come in handy in a time of need for you if things go south. And, things can go south very quickly. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. Okay. Let's get into this nuclear nitty-gritty, okay? The U.S. says strikes have devastated Iran's nuclear program. Devastated Iran's nuclear program. And how could they not have? You're talking about the 30,000-pound, bunker busters, right? 30,000, which, by the way, Chris Christie, J.B. Pritzker, we didn't drop J.B. Pritzker. We only dropped Christie and Stacey Abrams, the beast of the Middle East. Stacey Abrams. That's what she said going down. That's what she said going all the way down. I'm surprised I didn't hear her coming down. Stacey Abrams. And she made a huge impact. Is a crater the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. The United States devastated Iran's nuclear program, or so they say. I tend to believe, look, you have these Russians that are coming out. Russia. They're like, nuclear program is fine. Mother Russia says nuclear program fine. Russia. Iran, Iran said, this is going to be something that, that you're going to regret. Still haven't seen any retaliation. By the way, I hope we don't see any retaliation. But here are some clips from yesterday from members of the Trump administration. This is Marco Rubio on with I Don't Really Care Margaret Brennan, right? This is Marco Rubio on schooling her on why those strikes came to be and the fact, I believe it's a fact, that Iran was getting close to a nuclear weapon. Again, you don't enrich your uranium to 60%. And then, it's easier to get to 90 from 60, exponentially easier. You don't enrich uranium to that level if you're not trying to build a weapon. 3 to 5% is generally all you need for civilian energy production, right? If you're providing nuclear energy for your citizens. 60%, there's no use for that. Other than getting it to 90%, which is where you need to be in order to build a nuclear weapon. So here's Marco Rubio explaining all that to the fake news. The Trump administration, Vance, Rubio, Hegseth, took to the media yesterday and got out in front of all the stupid narratives. But watch this. This is a masterclass from Marco Rubio.
Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I think that question being asked in the media, that's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build a
point in
weapon.
U.S. intelligence assessments. You know
No,
that.
it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
The political decision had not
I know
been
that better
made.
than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But
You don't
I'm
know-
asking you
don't
whether
know
the
what you're
order
talking
was
about.
given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain, 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they have 60% enriched uranium? You don't need 60% enriched uranium. The only countries in the world that have uranium at 60% are countries that have nuclear weapons. Because they can quickly make it 90. They have all the elements. Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No. They're trying to build an ICBM.
No, but
so
that's
they can one day put a warhead on it.
That's a question of intent. And in the intelligence assessment that it was that Iran wanted to be a threshold
How do
state
you know what
and
the
use this
intelligence
leverage.
assessment says?
I'm
How do
talking
you know
about
what
the
the
public
intelligence assessment
March
says?
assessment. And that's why I was asking you if you know something more from
but
March.
that's also
if
an
an order
inaccurate
was
representation of it. That's an accurate representation of it. That's not how intelligence is read. That's not how intelligence is used. Here's what the whole world knows. Forget about intelligence. What the IAEA knows. They are enriching uranium well beyond anything you need for a civil nuclear program. So why would you enrich uranium at 60%?
Right.
If you don't intend to one day use it to take it to 90 and build a weapon.
Right.
Why are you developing ICBMs? Why do you have 8,000 short-range missiles and 2,000 to 3,000 long mid-range missiles that you continue to develop? Why do you do all these things? They
Understood.
have everything they need for a nuclear weapon. They have the
Okay.
delivery mechanisms. They have the enrichment capability. They have the highly enriched uranium that is stored.
Yes.
That's all we need to see.
Right. Well, and
especially in
so
the
it was
hands
the
of a regime that's already involved in terrorism and proxies and all kinds of things around. They are the source of all
Yes,
the
and
instability
no one's disputing that. I'm not doing that here. And they were censured at the IAEA for that enrichment and for violating their non-proliferation agreements. I was simply asking if we had intelligence that there was an
He
order.
just gave you the intelligence, you dope. She is so annoying. Can someone in the chat tell me, any Bongino army, did she make it onto the list of the dopey media head, the talking, what is it, the dopey I forgot how he phrased it. The dopey media talking head Olympics. Was she bronze before he joined the FBI? This is Margaret Brennan. It's not all Brennans are like that, but there's a lot of bad ones. Margaret Brennan, John Brennan. It's not good. John Brennan's up there. John Brennan's up on our wall with the Spygate poster. Was she bronze medal for dopey media talking head Olympics? Did she ever get to silver? I don't remember. More from the administration, though, by the way. I think she got to bronze. I think she was bronze, but I think she'd be close to gold now. I think she'd be close. She did pass Joy Reid. I think she'd be close to gold. And Bad Moon, I saw one of your comments before in the chat about retaliation. I do believe Iran's going to retaliate. They retaliated after Soleimani, but remember, they essentially attacked an empty shell to save face. But they still haven't retaliated yet. I hope they don't. They probably will. I don't know what they have left, though, by the way. But here's J.D. Vance, but I do agree that they're going to try to retaliate in some form. Here's J.D. Vance saying we're not at war with the Iranian regime. We're at war with the Iranian nuclear program. Watch.
Is the United States now at war with Iran?
No, Kristen, we're not at war with Iran. We're at war with Iran's nuclear program. And let me just say, Kristen, that we're incredibly grateful and proud of the American Air Force pilots who did an incredible job last night. The operation was really extraordinary. These guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine and then got back home safely without ever landing in the Middle East or ever stopping other than to briefly refuel. And, of course, they did that in the air. So it's really an incredible operation, a testament to the power of American military. And I think what shows what can happen when you have that great American military in the hands of capable presidential leadership. What we did is we destroyed the Iranian nuclear program. I think we set that program back substantially, and we did it without endangering the lives of the American pilots. That's an incredible thing, and I think we all should be proud. Whatever our politics, we should be proud of what these guys accomplished. A very, very high-impact mission under a lot of pressure.
Vance, we're not at war with the Iranian regime. We're at war with the Iranian nuclear program. I love hearing that from our vice president. Here's Vance again talking about the prospects of regime change.
Our view has been very clear that we don't want a regime change. We do not want to protract this or build this out any more than it's already been built out. We want to end their nuclear program, and then we want to talk to the Iranians about a long-term settlement here. We believe very strongly that there are two pathways. There's a pathway where Iran continues to fund terrorism, continues to try to build a nuclear program, attacks American troops. That's the bad pathway for Iran, and it will be met with overwhelming force. There's another pathway on the table here. There's a pathway where Iran integrates itself into the international community, stops funding terrorism, and stops trying to pursue a nuclear weapon. This is a reset. This is an opportunity for the Iranians to take the smart path. We certainly hope that they will.
Hopefully they do take the smart path. Hopefully they don't continue to develop nuclear weapons. Hopefully the Iranian people rise up and overthrow that oppressive regime. And that's exactly what Pete Hegseth is also saying. This mission has not been about regime change. I know what Donald Trump put on Truth Social. I have a feeling that Donald Trump knows how to troll really well. Why would I feel that way? Because he does it all the time. Because he does it all the time. It's called we do a little trolling, right? He even talks about doing it. I think he's trying to drive people crazy. I really do. I don't think the man who ran on No New Wars wants to deploy American men and women to Iran to occupy that country and conduct a regime change. I don't think so. And by the way, to everybody who keeps talking about regime change and how bad it is, I agree that when the United States jumps in and plays a large role or facilitates on the ground in a country a regime change, it never works out. But what does the term regime change mean? It means that the people leading the nation are swapped out for a new group of people who lead the nation. Newsflash, the United States on November 5th, 2024, and it was finalized on January 20th, 2025, underwent a regime change. But we did so through elections. We did so because of the will of the people. That is what I believe Donald Trump is advocating for in Iran. But people see a president post regime change on social media, and they're like, here we go, George W. Bush. And the silver lining of that is that you see, the true colors of a lot of people that we once believed were respectable, and they actually aren't. And we'll get to that on the other side of the break. I want to go to Hegseth first. Pete Hegseth also says, so we had Rubio, we have Vance, and now we have Pete Hegseth saying we're not interested in regime change. Watch.
This mission was not and has not been about regime change. The president authorized a precision operation to neutralize the threats to our national interests posed by the Iranian Nuclear Program and the collective self-defense of our troops and our ally Israel.
So it's not, as Donald Trump said before, it's not politically correct, right? Look, the Post. It's not politically correct to use the term regime change, but if the current Iranian regime is unable to make Iran great again, why wouldn't there be a regime change? Why wouldn't there be a regime change? That's what he's asking. Why wouldn't there be new leadership? That's what he's asking. He's not saying, why wouldn't I go in there and change the regime? He's saying, if your country sucks and is getting devastated and the people are upset, why wouldn't the people stand up and fight for themselves? It's a fair question. But the Haji twins, Candace, Owen Bin Schroyer, all of these people, right? They're Nick Fuentes, who, by the way, some of them have been featured on Iranian state media. Newsflash to anybody who gets featured positively on Iranian state media. You're not America first if that's the case, okay? If the Death to America regime is featuring your content as a means of putting forth the case that they are right, you are not America first. It's that simple. It's that simple. Okay? It's really that simple. Donald Trump said this back in 2010. Remember Soleimani? That was not died like a dog. That was a different guy. Al-Baghdadi was died like a dog. Both of them happened to have died like dogs. But remember Soleimani? Right around, I think it was either New Year's Day or January 2nd, something like that. The United States assassinated one of Iran's generals, Qasem Soleimani. He was in Iraq and they just bomb, gone. Good night. Here it is. Trump posted in Persian, but wrote, "To the brave and suffering people of Iran, I have stood with you since the beginning of my presidency, and my administration will continue to stand with you. We are following your protests closely. Your courage is inspiring." He's essentially posting the exact same thing here. Yes, I know he used the term regime change, but he said at the beginning, it's not politically correct. He understands the crappy meaning, the bad connotation that comes with the term regime change. He is basically saying, and it's what happens in countries that have elections. If the people are unhappy with the direction of their country, right? United States, France, Canada, Iran, wherever it is, okay? And they're fed up with the leadership. Why wouldn't there be a change in leadership? He's trying to empower the Iranian people. I don't believe he wants to go in there and conduct a regime change. And I got news for you. The Haji twins, they don't believe that either. But they need what? They need, what do they need? This is our new Haji twins button. They need these. Click, 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 right? All the clickbaiters, they're like, how do we get more of these? Right? Their pet mouse, they're stroking it. They're like, oh, good mouse. Click for me. Make me money, right? This is what they need. That's what they need. That's why people are hyperventilating over the term. It's not because they believe it's going to be George Bush 2.0. It's because they need the almighty click. This is what they need. This is what they need. I'm not going to say we don't have anything to worry about when it comes to regime change. Of course, it lives in the back of my head. I'm sitting there thinking, oh boy, we better not. We better not. But I really don't believe that's what Donald Trump wants. And I think we've seen his body of work. We've seen him bomb Afghanistan. We did not go in there and do a regime change. We've seen him do this to Syria. We did not go in there and do a regime change. We've seen him do this with al-Baghdadi. We did not go in there and perform regime change. We've seen him take out Soleimani. The regime that Soleimani was loyal to is still the regime in power in Iran. No regime change after that strike. We've seen him bomb the Houthis. No regime change down there in Yemen either, right? His body of work speaks for himself, for itself. Can we please stop hyperventilating over something that you and I both know is very unlikely to happen? Very unlikely to happen. All right. Quick break, and then we're going to get to some of this social media clownery. Social media clownery, all right? First, new sponsor, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to our lineup of sponsors, our beautiful sponsors that help us. Help us do a lot. Our sponsors, we love them, and I happen to love this group. This is Silent, okay? SLNT. This is Silent, folks. For those of you who are afraid of the EMPs and the radiation, the EMP attacks aren't really. This is not going to protect you from that. But for those of you who are afraid of the radiation that comes off your phone, what is the Bluetooth going to do? What is all that radiation, all that tech, all that stuff? Is it good for you? Is it bad for you? These are worthy concerns. You can use peace of mind here. You get some peace of mind and use these products from Silent. They are Faraday products, folks. Between the government, big tech, corporate America, and criminals, your privacy is compromised 24/7. There's no other option. You have to protect yourself. That starts with Silent. Now, I know people have these like grounding bags and whatnot, and they stick their phones in a bag before they go to bed at night because it's not, the radiation and the signal stuff's not good for you. Silent's Faraday products can do all that and more. Folks, they can block all incoming and outgoing signals so that your devices are invisible and safe from the outside world, from their backpacks, their phone sleeves, and even their pants. That's right. They've got Faraday pants, folks. Their patented signal blocking technology blocks wireless signals, giving you peace of mind that your data does not end up in the wrong hands. Just place your device inside, close it, and that's all you got to do. You're safeguarded from unauthorized access. Go Silent today. Go to slnt.com/Sean, SHAWN. You get 15% off of your order. slnt.com/Sean. Pick up a phone sleeve, pick up a backpack, pick up some pants, whatever it is you need. You want to protect yourself or your identity. Silent.com/Sean, slnt.com/SHAWN, silent.com/Sean for 15% off, slnt.com/Sean for 15% off. All right, where are we going to go here? Okay, we're going to go to social media clownery. Before I get to that, I want to preface it with something I posted this morning, okay? Before I get to that, I want to get to something I posted this morning. A promise that I want to make all of you who follow me, whether it's here with LFA TV, whether it's on X, whether it's on Truth Social, whether you're on Getter, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on YouTube, wherever you follow me, right? Here's a few things that I'm always going to promise those who follow me on social media. Number one, you know this, I say it all the time on this show. I may not always say what you want to hear, right? But I'm always going to be saying and telling you what I believe is the truth and why I believe it's the truth. I post my own stuff. Nobody posts for me. Nobody ever has. Nobody ever will. I genuinely enjoy engaging with everybody, including those of you who disagree with me. I've invited many people who disagree with me onto the show. We've had discussions and conversations before. My opinions and my stances do not and will not change depending on what platform I'm on, no matter what. And you're more than just numbers. I know we ask, hit the thumbs up, let's do more. We're doing that for fun. We're also doing that because it helps the entire network grow. Rising tide lifts all boats. But you're more than just numbers. I don't scroll social media and go, that person has more followers than me. That means they're better, or that means nothing to me. I appreciate everybody who's following, but I know you're people. And that's what I care about first and foremost. I don't take any of that for granted. As you know, you're watching now maybe. I host a live show 10 a.m. Eastern Time every day, Rumble and X. You can see my face. It may not be a pretty face, but it's a face. And you can hear my voice.
No, it's not.
You can call in on Fridays, and we could talk and we could debate the issues. I enjoy discussion. I personally, on my social media, try not to block unless you're being ridiculously vile, you're doxing, or you're spamming. Then you're out. No tolerance for that. But I don't hide your replies. I'm not doing any of that crap. I know people who do that on X and think it's weak. I try to be a real person. Not an account, This is an account on X. No. When you're following me, you're not following an account. You're following a person. I'm a person. I'm not a brand. I'm not an account. I'm just a guy Okay? There's a lot of fake people out there. We saw a bunch of it this weekend. And there's a lot of people who hide behind followers and put forth an image of themselves that is just a facade. I'm not one of those people. And I promise to never become one of those people. We've bumped into several folks in supermarkets. I'm wearing gym shorts and a workout shirt. I don't care. Right? So this is not going to be what we saw over the weekend on social media with some of these folks. Case number one, Exhibit A, the Haji twins, it's just unbelievable. If those of you don't know, okay, what happened with the Haji twins on X this weekend, and I didn't expect it to do this, but I kind of got them in a lot of trouble with their followers because after the strikes, they started throwing a temper tantrum and hyperventilating on X. And I say, I wonder, are they posting the same stuff over on Facebook? Let's see. So I went over to their Facebook page, and this is what I found. A post 35 minutes after the strike, waving the pom-poms, cheering on the strike. Like if you stand with Trump's bold action, comment MAGA to show Iran who's boss, share to slap down the Democrat lies. Yeah, quoting the strike. Trump has been clear. Iran can't have nukes. Contrast that with on X. Oh, we're getting into war. We're getting into war. So I said, hey, guys, will the real Hodge twins please stand up? Will the real Hodge twins please stand up? Because on X, folks, on X, you get this version of the Hodge twins, right? It's the Jews, right? That's the Hodge twins on X. And on Facebook, you get, yay, the Trump administration bombed Iran, right? You get this version of the Hodge. So will the real Hodge twins please stand up? Well, they attempted to cover for what happened, and this is what they said. We don't personally post on our Facebook. We got a lady that runs it. We don't have time. Twins. There's two of them. One of you posts on X. The other one posts on Facebook. There's two of you. I run all my stuff. Granted, I post less on Facebook, less on Instagram, less on Getter, less on Truth than I do on X because I enjoy X the most. But sometimes I do cross-post, or I'll screenshot an X post and put it on Instagram, and it'll post automatically to Facebook. I do all that. I have time. They don't have time? What are they doing? I know what they're doing. Hey, Kevin. What, Keith? That's what they're doing. It was a nice post you made on X, bro. We got a lady that does it. They said. We got a lady. Now my question is this. The wording is bad. Now my question is this. They go, oh, it looks like ChatGPT wrote it. I said, well, ChatGPT should write your tweets too because your tweets suck. Now my question is this. Every time one of their posts gets backlash, is that going to be the mysterious social media lady too? It's a good question, right? When are they actually posting? Who knows? Who knows? That's number one. Fraud number two, obviously, was Candace Owens, which we've been calling out for quite some time. And yesterday, she decided to put something up like this. You can't make this up. It's almost cartoonish. Today, Iranian sleeper cells attack on American soil is now to be expected. All right. I see a lot of people talking about the sleeper cells. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I want to be measured about it. Do I believe there are Iranian sleeper cells in the United States? I definitely do. I do. I think they're here. I think anybody who says they're not here would be naive to say that and to think that with a wide open border, they didn't take advantage. Everybody took advantage of the wide open border. So I do think that there are terror cells in the United States. Okay? I think there are bad people who are here. I think the law of averages is in favor of that. Okay? That said, I see a lot of people now who are doing this. over the sleeper cells. Okay? I don't think fear and whipping up fear and making everybody walk on eggshells over this threat is the right approach. With that said, be vigilant. Keep your eyes peeled. If open carry and constitutional carry is legal in your state and you have a firearm, carry. By all means. But don't live in fear. I don't want anybody to live in fear. Because, whether it's my favorite movie, Star Wars, where Tarkin says fear will keep the local systems in line. That's the easiest way to control people is fear. Or it's the lessons that we learned from COVID, right? Or just look at what happened in New Jersey over in December of 2024. People ran around with their heads on fire because of drones that didn't exist. Seriously, there were drones, but there was no nuclear bomb that went missing. I mean, think about it. So I don't want people to live in fear of these sleeper cells. I think they're here. But you see, here's the problem with what Candace is saying here. She's essentially making the argument that because there are sleeper cells in the United States, we should not anger Iran. In that case, why don't you just walk the Ayatollah into the White House, take down the American flag, and put up the Iranian flag if that's what you want. This is a woman, by the way, Candace Owens, who likes to tell you that America is controlled by Israel, which we're not. I understand AIPAC. I understand there's a partnership between the United States and Israel. Some people don't like how involved both countries are with each other. That's fine. The United States is not controlled by Israel. That is garbage. But for a woman who doesn't want the United States to be controlled by Israel, she sure as hell is having a hard time trying to sell us that the United States is controlled by Iran as well. She wants to look at this. So we shouldn't have, so the point that she's making is we shouldn't have attacked Iran because they have sleeper cells in our country. In that case, we're the United States of Iran. Right? I mean, isn't that what she's getting at here? Well, now because Trump attacked their nuclear sites, the sleeper cells are going to activate. Okay, so you mean the regime that chants death to America, their sleeper cells were never going to activate? They were always going to stay asleep if we didn't attack their nuclear program? Give me a break. And that means just because they're here in our country, we should just escort the Ayatollah into the White House, take down the American flag, raise up the Iranian flag, and surrender and do nothing? Don't you see how that fear is being weaponized to cripple your country? And you wonder why. You wonder why Iranian state media is featuring her posts. That is Iranian state media on the top left-hand portion of your screen. I'll make this bigger for you. Iranian state media is featuring Candace Owens' post. Look at this. This ran on their propaganda network. If your posts are being featured and promoted by Iranian state media, there's a 100% chance that you are not America first. 100% chance. And it's not like they took what she said out of context. She's essentially now arguing on social media for the United States to surrender to Iran because they might, probably do, have sleeper cells in our country. And attacking Iran will only activate the sleeper cells. So are we the United States of America? Or are we the United States of Iran? It sounds like Candace Owens is advocating for us to be the United States of Iran with that post, which is what I put in there. And, people are just, I'm happy that people are finally seeing her for who she really is, because it is ugly. It is really ugly. Back onto this debate, by the way, about whether or not Iran was building nukes. Do you guys in the chat? Well, I think I might have just given it away. But can you guys in the chat list me a few of Iran's allies, or who we would consider allies? Do you guys know in the chat who we would consider, just looking at it, who we would consider Iran's allies? Anybody in the live chat know? Brennan, do you know who you would consider Iran's allies? Candace Owens. That's a good. Other countries.
Iraq, Afghanistan.
I don't think Iraq and Afghanistan would say they're allied. I don't know if they're against Iran, but Other countries. There, CFAM, China. Yes.
China.
China's a good one. China. Now, when you talk about the Strait of Hormuz, by the way, 5% of our oil supply goes through the Strait. 50% of China's oil supply goes through there. Russia. Bad Moon's got it too. Russia. Yes. China, Russia. Bad Moon's got it again. North Korea. Yeah, they're very close with Iran.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay? Now, seeing as how Russia would be considered, we would consider Russia an ally with Iran, okay? I would think that when Russian officials, members of the, Putin regime, the Russian Federation, start talking about Iran, I like to listen, okay? Now, Dimitri Medvedev came out, Dimitri Medvedev, we love the mother Russia, right? Dimitri Medvedev, in his first post in this thread, said that Iran's nuclear program wasn't damaged, which to me seems like propaganda. But then I think he let this little guy slip yesterday. Number 2, the enrichment of nuclear material. Now, he's talking about, this is in the context of Iran. This is not in the context of Russia. This is in the context of what is happening in Iran. The enrichment of nuclear material, and now we can say it outright. The future production of nuclear weapons will continue. A number of countries are ready to directly supply Iran with their own nuclear warheads. But Dimitri Medvedev admitted, I don't know if he wanted to, he says, well, now we could say it outright. Oh, okay, so you guys were lying? So Iran was lying that they weren't developing a nuclear weapon? Okay, so Trump was right. He let it slip. And while I'm not going to tell you that everything that the Russians and Dimitri Medvedev says is, unimpeachable and the gospel here, when it comes to somebody's, if somebody's closest friend says, hey, you know what, I know them really well and that's not what they meant, or I know them really well and this is what they're about, if somebody's closest friend comes up to me and says, hey, I'm close with him, he's got a drug problem or something, I'm going to believe them because they have closer ties to them and better knowledge of this individual than any of us would, than the U.S. does. Russia is a hell of a lot closer to Iran diplomatically than the United States is. So when Russians come out and start talking about, we can now say it outright, the production of a nuclear weapon, I'm going to sit there and say, okay, I think maybe it kind of proves that what we thought about Iran was right. Yeah, I think so too. Make no mistake, they were trying to build a nuke. And the world is a safer place now that either they can't or they won't be able to for the next couple of years. As far as the Iranian regime goes, as far as, the business of their country, right? That's up to the Iranian people. I don't want to put American boots on the ground in Iran. And folks, I know most of you don't either. And if the administration decides that they want to do that, I'm probably going to have a pretty big problem with it. Because we've stuck our neck out for this administration, right? And I'm not saying that they're going to betray us in this case. I don't think they're going to do it. But a lot of us have said, guys, calm down. And I know when things are crazy, and I know when we compete for the clicks, right? I know when this is what everyone's after. Calmness doesn't work, right? The truth never sells. How come when I posted the actual explanation for the New Jersey drones, it got less engagement than people who posted obscured images of the sun saying, what is this? Because the truth doesn't sell. Calmness doesn't sell. How come every time somebody said Michelle Obama is running for president, that got millions of views? But when someone said, I don't think so, it was, you're not awake, you're not paying attention. Right? Think. But I encourage people in this situation, don't live in fear. I'm not saying the sleeper cells aren't real. They're probably here. But that doesn't mean we live in fear. That's how the terrorists win, right? And if you see something, say something. You can report those, suspicions to a brand new FBI who are going to take it seriously. But don't let people whip you into a frenzy over sleeper cells or regime change or war or any of that. Right now, what we have had is one precision strike from this administration, which Trump has carried out many times before. We haven't seen retaliation yet from Iran. We may see it. We may not. We probably will. And let's hope that any sleeper cells that may exist in the United States don't do too much damage. Maybe we can put an end to it before they activate. But I encourage you not to live in fear, and I encourage you not to start freaking out, because that's the way that you can easily be controlled and hurted. Whoops, I don't know what happened there. I must have hit the wrong button. All right, let's get to a word from the LFA TV store. I want to talk to you about the LFA TV store. LFATV.us, July 4th, coming up. Spring cleaning sale going for the next week. LFATV.us, LFATV.us, LFATV.us. Folks, click on that store tab when you get to the top of the page here. Scroll down and hit that visit the store button right off on the right-hand side there. You got the mugs, right, with the iconic photos of Trump 2024 campaign. You got the I Don't Really Care Margaret shirt, and, of course, that 20% off spring cleaning sale until June 30th. This is the I Don't Really Care Margaret shirt. She was back in the news as Marco Rubio schooled her. Lots of other items also on the LFA TV store for everybody. Something for everybody here. Rise Up coffee, keychains, tote bags, all sorts of really good stuff here at the LFA TV store. It's LFATV.us, 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 or jeremyherrell.com/store. It's LFATV.us or jeremyherrell.com/store. Next up is our friends over at Armra Colostrum. Try armra.com/LFATV. That is TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it right there on your screen. You know that I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, enhance my skin and hair radiance, improve my fitness and metabolism, and improve my gut health, of course. That you can do that, all that and more, over at tryarmra.com/LFATV. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. Contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. You can use colostrum to help reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. You can fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and you can fuel your fitness performance and your recovery. You can harness the close-guarded secret of elite athletes, long prized for its unrivaled ability to take performance to its apex. Colostrum has been shown in research to help enhance nutrient absorption, promote lean muscle building, and improve endurance while fueling cellular repair regeneration for faster recovery. Specifically, colostrum has been shown to improve fitness endurance by 20%, decrease recovery time by over 50% after intense exercise, and specifically build lean muscle mass. Go over to tryarmor.com/LFATV. Get that special deal. Tryarmor.com/LFATV. That's TRYARMRA.com/LFATV. Tryarmor.com/Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to get to a little bit from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because as you know, she is out there, or as you may know, she is out there currently calling for Trump's impeachment over the strikes on Iran. Of course, claiming that Donald Trump violated the Constitution, which is something that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has never read before. Got the live chat fixed, by the way, back on our screen. But AOC is calling for Trump's impeachment, and I want you to think, don't worry about what she's saying now, but worry about the groundwork that she may be laying for once, whether or not the Democrats win back the House in 2026. This is very important. I don't care what side of the divide that you're on. Pro-war, anti-war. I don't think any of us are pro-war. I think we're just accepting, about the strikes, the Iran strikes, because we know they can't have a nuclear weapon, right? But I want you to be very careful listening to AOC, because she's telling you essentially what they're already going to impeach Donald Trump over. So she wants Donald Trump impeached over the attack in Iran. And they're going to do that. They're going to do that if and when, hopefully not, they win back the House. Speaking of New York City Democrats, I don't know if this is legitimate or if this is just hype. I know there have been some polls that have reflected because New York City does this ranked choice voting crap. there is a Muslim socialist who is running for mayor of New York City who may beat Andrew Cuomo, which, silver lining, Andrew Cuomo's political career dies, but a Muslim socialist who believes in Sharia law being the mayor of New York City, where 9/11 happened, that ain't good. If you live in New York and this guy wins, you got to get out. You got to get out. You definitely don't want to go to the city with this guy in charge. It's going to look like London. It's going to look like London. They did the same thing in London. Look what happened, in England. Look what happened over there. Finally, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is back in the news because a hack judge decided that Kilmar Abrego Garcia isn't actually a flight risk and isn't actually a threat to the community. So they're going to release him. Now, he's still in custody now. There's going to be a bail hearing on Wednesday. But they're looking at releasing this guy. That's right, an MS-13 gang member, a suspected human smuggler. Good evidence that he did smuggle human beings, hundreds of them across the country. MS-13 gang member, illegal alien, documented wife beater, according to the wife, of course. And they're thinking of releasing this guy? You can't be serious. This bail hearing that's happening on Wednesday, hopefully it goes the right way and they can keep him in pretrial detention. What do you think? He's not going to run? The Maryland man? They better keep this guy detained. It's absurd, as Clee said in the chat. Absurd. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening to the show this morning. I greatly appreciate it. If you're watching over on X, do me a favor, hit that repost button. I'm getting tired of the Middle East, so hopefully we get some more things to talk about besides the Middle East. But as long as the Middle East is top of the news cycle, we'll be all over it. Hit that repost button if you're watching on X. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on Rumble. Obviously, Jeremy is away all week, but there's a couple of pre-recorded shows and fill-ins that will be happening all week long. Here's Mo for our 700 likes over on Rumble. Do us a favor if you're watching anywhere. Hit the like button, hit the repost button, drop us a comment and a reply. We have a pre-recorded, I believe, episode of Live from America coming up next with Jeremy Harrell. He is away for the week. His first vacation that he's taken with his wife in a very long time. Guy works hard, so happy to see him taking some time and recharging and, going out there and having a good time. So please remain here to support the channel while he's away. And we'll be back in full swing next week, of course. But as we always say, as President Trump always says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Monday. We will see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place, rumble.com/LFA TV at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Until then, in the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang gavel. Live for America with Jeremy Harrell is up next. We'll see you tomorrow morning.